It's very clear what the #1 environmental challenge facing us is, and it's climate change. Cars and driving is obviously a very important part of American life and American transportation. It can't be the only option, though. We've got to make sure that we have more quality trains to get people where they need to be, that we invest in transit. And under this bipartisan infrastructure law, we've got more federal funding for transit than we've ever had before. We got to make sure, even when we design our communities and our neighborhoods, that we make it more convenient and more safe to walk and bike. We've got to increase electric vehicle adoption in the country. We got to make them more affordable, make them easier to use, make sure there are chargers everywhere. But even at the fastest possible pace of the American auto industry, which is moving electric, the bottom line is there's still going to be a lot of internal combustion vehicles on the road for a very long time. That means we have to make sure we deal with the efficiency of the gas vehicles and the capability of the electric vehicles. Think about an electric car. Some of these new pickup trucks start around $40,000. Imagine if we could bring that price point into the high 20s. That would mean millions of Americans who can't quite afford it now would be able to, and then of course would also be able to save money on fuel because it's cheaper the more electric vehicles are made. It's like anything else. The more you produce them, the more efficient our companies get in generating them, and generally the lower the prices get. We're starting to see that happen. We need to make it happen faster. I don't think we have all the answers here in Washington. What we do have is the funding. So we're inviting every state to submit their plan for how they want to use these dollars. And we're going to have some basic standards, some requirements to make sure those federal taxpayer dollars are being used in an accountable, appropriate way. But I think the states are going to come up with ideas that we would never dream of here in Washington. And then we can get those dollars flowing. The bottom line, though, is we've got to make sure that our national highway network has enough chargers that the same way right now, if you're going on the interstate, you know there's going to be a gas station between you and where you're headed. We need to make sure that there's that same confidence on the electric side too. In a lot of parts of the country, what used to be a 1,000-year flood seems to be happening every few years. Shame on us if we're not including that in our planning, and that's part of why this infrastructure bill, this bipartisan bill that the president led, includes a lot of funding specifically for resilience. We've got to make sure that our paving materials and our building materials are more resilient for that harsh set of conditions that's only going to increase in the future.